So I had high hopes for Richie. Oh well. But anyway, Steamboat puts over the family unit, and he says that he's not like Flair chasing accolades and records, but instead he's fighting for his family and for the average folks out there. So, consummate babyface, man.
Because Dusty Rhodes wasn't active at this time in this company, so someone had to fight for the working man, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, did you ever hear when I think it was Bill Watts after Junkyard Dog left the territory, he said, "Well, I need another African American superstar," and he probably didn't say it that way, but I'm cleaning it up because we're talking about Bill Watts here. But he said, "Well, I need another African American superstar," and Dusty Rhodes allegedly said, "I'll be an African American superstar, baby." So there you go.
Well, I guess Akeem was busy.
Well, yeah, he wasn't quite yet a Jive Soul Pro, but he would be, or was he? I don't know.
I think he was, because we just talked about that match on Saturday Night's Main Event, and he was involved in it.
Well, this was like years before this, but yeah. So, again, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. I don't know how them timelines work. But up next, I don't know how this works either, man. It's Sting versus Butch Reed with Hiro Matsuda in his corner. Was this that corporation thingy?
The Matsuda Corporation, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was a play on RoboCop, the name of the corporation. So
from what I had always been hearing in shoot interviews and stuff and people running down timelines, it was because in 1989 there was a thought for some reason that because Japan was getting really into corporations and technology building and whatever. So there was like a scare in America that, Japan's taking over everything. So they were like, why wouldn't they take over pro wrestling? And there you go. Dumb. But it is what it is. This is one of them things where didn't they just throw every freaking heel into this group?
Yeah, but you could say that about almost any group in the NWA or WCW.
Right.
The York Foundation, NWO eventually, the Dungeon of Doom.
And all the timely, like now dated things like the Matsuda Corporation and the York Foundation that we look back at and laugh. But this match, by the way, unfortunately got a ton of time. 20 minutes, 7 seconds. Uncle Dave said that this match bored the crowd to death. Almost bored me to death. Reed plays a hardcore heel in this match. Jim Ross says that he believes Sting has surpassed, quote, his former partners. Wink, wink at, another face-painted guy over in the WWF.
All right. Not that I don't agree with him, but that's not a very high bar, but.
Well, at this time.
And I love the Ultimate Warrior. I don't think I'm better. I love him, but, no.
Well, okay. I guess we were going into WrestleMania 5. So, okay. I can see the point. Because Warrior hadn't won the title. Neither had Sting. But.
No, I think they both went in the same year, so.
Yeah, they did. The very next year, by the way. But, Jim Ross said that he believes that, Sting will lead the NWA into the 90s. I mean, kinda.
I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah. But kind of a boring match with many headlocks. Sting goes for a sunset flip, but Reed sits down and grabs the ropes. Referee Teddy Long smacks Reed's hands off the ropes, allowing Sting to roll him up for the pin. They continue brawling after the bell until Sting punches Reed and Reed takes a tumble out of the ring. Uncle Dave gave this half a star. I gave it a 1. What say you?
I went a little higher. I thought Reed looked decent here, so I said 2.
I was bored to tears.
And looking at it, though, it's just funny. Reed came back to the NWA from WWE, and according to rumor and innuendo, as the Podfather says, he was supposed to be the Intercontinental Champion, not Honky Tonk Man, but something happened. I don't remember everything about. He no-showed. Okay, yeah. And then, I mean, he was going to be like the first breakout black star in WWE anyways. And, he screwed himself.
I love how, they say, hey, we're going to make you champ. And then he no-shows. Like, I don't want that belt.
Yeah, right? That's at the time too, that was an amazing title. I know it's been like ruined in late, like, I don't know, it's
Later
picking
years,
up some steam, but like, it lost its luster. But back then it was a title hold. Like you were pretty close to the upper echelon, and he blew it.
Yeah, Macho Man
I think
held it eventually.
I think all he would do is win the tag titles with Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
Who would then go on to be the first big black breakout star, which is kind of ironic.
Right.
But yeah, but I don't know. I thought he looked okay in this match, though. I could definitely see why someone would peg him to be something. I'm not going to say he was amazing, but like Butch Reed was pretty good.
I mean, they were fine, but they were like, it seemed to me like they were just putting in their time. This was such a boring headlock. Like, I don't fast forward through these matches unless it's a long headlock, and then you're damn right I'm fast forwarding. And I did a lot of fast forwarding through this match.
I believe Sting is just coming back from an injury too, if I remember correctly, or he's about to be injured, one of the two. But I thought it was like, this is the match like we're supposed to watch and be like, oh, this is the next world champion. Just seemed weird to me.
Yeah, hey, everybody gets Sting.
But the mentality back then was not the same as it is now. Keep that in mind too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they cheered like crazy during that weak brawl at the end of the fight or the match. I mean, so
that was one of my other notes too for the whole show. Is like, man, I forgot how into events audiences got. Like,
right. And the NWA crowd was conditioned where it's like, yeah, they wanted good like wrestling, but it didn't take, a backflip to make them lose their mind.
Yeah.
So. Bob Caudle interviews next. He's in the back. He interviews Paul E. Dangerously, who says that the original Midnight Express tonight will now be Ravishing Randy Rose and Jack Victory. We've already seen. And he says it's because Cornette knows Dennis Condrey too well, so he's changing the game plan. Dennis Condrey, of course, no-showed the event and went home over a pay dispute, never to return again. So... there you go.
First of all, how do they get away with calling him Ravishing?
I don't know, because they probably had to trademark Ravishing Rick Rude, and he was Ravishing Randy. I don't know. And I think because of the original Midnight Express, he probably used it first, so they didn't want to mess with it. I don't know, pal. God dang.
I'm kind of like mind blown now, knowing that Jack Victory wrestles twice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe I forgot. I didn't look at that part.
Maybe it gives me a little bit more appreciation for Jack in this match, but
also side note, real quick, it's now telling why Paulie was quick to sign him in ECW when he started running it.
Right.
Now I get it. Yeah, now I get it.
Give him.
And they teamed in with the King of Old School, so it all ties in. There you go.
Yep. Well, yeah. Then they split up the interviews with Bob Caudle, by the way, because they do the original Midnight Express entrance. And they come back for an interview with Bob. He has Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express with him, Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. They say that this is the biggest match of their lives. Cornette also does a good job of making us believe that Jack Victory actually belongs in the ring instead of Dennis Condrey. So kudos to Jim. But yeah, then we get the actual tag match up next. It's a 6-man tag, believe it or not. Randy Rose, Jack Victory, and Paulie Dangerously versus the Midnight Express of beautiful Bobby Eaton and sweet Stan Lane and Jim Cornette. The loser has to leave the NWA. Going into this, did you understand that it was the person who loses the fall that they're gone?
No.
Or did you think it was the whole team?
Yes, I thought it was the whole team. Or actually, going into it, I thought it was between Cornette and Dangerously. Actually, that's what I thought.
I thought it was the whole team is wiped out, they're gone. But, because I was like, well, that doesn't make sense because Paulie comes back later with a Samoan SWAT team. So, how do they get around that? I mean, it's wrestling, so whatever. But I'm like, what the hell? But no, it's who takes the fall loses their job. That's important, so keep that in mind. This was just shy of 16 minutes. Uncle Dave joked that there were about 50 wrestlers employed by the NWA, and about 12 of them are played by Jack Victory. He's not wrong. Uncle Dave thought that it would be that this would be death, but Cornette and Dangerously, quote, have hilarious chemistry together in the ring, and it ended up being a pretty good match. In my opinion, after a fairly silly 6-man match, I didn't care that much. The Midnights hit a double flapjack on Randy Rose that looked ugly as hell, and they pinned him for the win, meaning that he is now out of the NWA forever.
No.
Yeah.
Life
Randy
sucks.
Rose. Okay, well,
I gotta say, by the way, for me, Sweet Stan and Beautiful Bobby were the Midnight Express.
Yeah.
I just, the people like, who do you think? A lot of people say Dennis Condrey. For me, it was those two.
Yeah, I think it's because Loverboy Dennis, he was part of the Midnight Express when they did the big, like, the Skywalkers matches and stuff like that. And most of the feud with the Rock and Roll Express consisted of Bobby and Dennis. But I don't know. I liked Stan Lane way better than Dennis Condrey, and I thought he was a part of two pretty good tag teams. I mean, the Fabulous Ones. The Fabulous Ones, and then the Midnight Express. So he has that to hang his hat on. And we all know that he has to wear a hat now because he's bald, but did you know that? Did you know it?
I did, yeah.
Uncle Dave gave this 3 1/4 stars. I gave it 2.5 stars. Yeah, he freaking loved it.
I said 2 only because, for one, I forgot to mention there were some sweet mullets in this match.
Oh, hell yeah.
That. I thought it was funny seeing Cornette as a face. Just like weird.
Yeah.
But I did think it dragged a bit, but.
Well, he dressed like, and I don't know why this was the go-to, but when he wrestled, he basically dressed like Andy Kaufman.
I noticed that, yes.
That?
I did, yes.
Yeah. He wears like a red bodysuit and like a diver's suit almost, and then he pulls black trunks up over them. He wears black elbow pads and knee pads and black boots. It looked weird. And I think, am I correct in thinking, did he wrestle in his glasses or did he take them off?
I think he took them off, but I remember him coming out with them, I think.
Yeah. Well, and he said he was blind as a bat without his glasses, so it was hard for him to do anything when he didn't have his glasses on. He probably should have invested in contacts, but whatever. He hit an elbow, like the best spot of the match is the Midnight Express do like a double drop toe hold to, I want to say it was Randy Rose, and then Cornette comes in and drops an elbow on him, on his back, stands up and does the weirdest strut I've ever seen in my life. That was kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I think 2.5 stars is just fine for this. It was average. Bob Cottle's backstage again with Ric Flair. Flair has Hiro Matsuda with him. Flair calls himself the Golden Stallion and promises a championship victory tonight, saying that Steamboat better be at his best. I counted about 20 woos in this promo, by the way.
Yeah. He's typical Flair. He was quiet for a minute and then started yelling.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he wooed about as much as Hulk Hogan said no holds barred in that commercial. So,
brother,
it was nuts. Drinking game. Every time he woos, take a drink.
No, man, you might kill someone doing that.
Maybe. This next match, man, this one wasn't terrible. It wasn't my favorite of the night by any stretch of the imagination.
Sorry.
But it was Rick Steiner with Scott Steiner in his corner. He was defending the NWA television title against Mike Rotunda. It goes for just shy of 16.5 minutes. This marked the debut of Scott Steiner in the NWA, by the way, and all he did was stand outside the ring. Yeah.
He was looking for freaks.
Wow. Uncle Dave, well, this night he was Rick Steiner's hookup. And Rick did not holler because he did not hear him. Uncle Dave says that the match wasn't good, but it was worked really snug and hard-hitting. I said, and I don't know, this was, looking back on it, maybe I was wrong, but I said best match of the night for me so far. Not of the night, but so far, I felt it was decent, because I was bored to tears so far.
I thought it was interesting.